Welcome to BuffaloWriter.com. My cousin visits the website from time to time and starts to read a story, but he's more interested in the scroll bar over to the right, and the little button moving down. And if that button isn't moving fast enough to suit him, he's gone. I've lost him, So I said to him, Joe, don't ever read a book, okay? I mention this because I've written a new story for the website, and it's long, 10,000 words. Didn't start out to be 10,000 words, but it ended up at 10,000 words. Now, I'm well aware that even the most devoted reader of the site, is not going to read 10,000 words of copy off a computer screen. So I provided a link, and you can click on the link to download the story, and you can print it out and then read it, in hard copy. All right. So now that got that out of the way, I'm going to read an excerpt from the story. It's called My Most Amazing Student. She sailed through the door one day to take a seat in the front row that placed her at the closest possible distance from the teacher. She was early 40s, tall for a Korean, beautifully dressed. Not for an English class, but a diplomatic reception or the opera. We went back and forth a bit, and I asked why she'd come to the United States. She said, I'm here to learn English, and for my children to learn English. I said, your English is good. Thank you, but I don't think so. She said, I also teach. What do you teach? I am a professor of textile engineering. She was down in Torrance renting a townhouse. She said, I need space. Otherwise, I would kill my children. I said, do you ever beat them? Yes, all the time. I have a special stick I got from the Buddhists. I have a name for the stick. I call the stick chaos. One day my son found the stick, broke it. I laughed. I said, I have 11 more. It only takes one student to provide a boost for the entire class. They enter the room and the energy level goes up 100%, 200%. That was Risa. She had that gift, extraordinary gift. It didn't take long, maybe a week, and she was the queen of Columbia West College. I always knew when she arrived, a little mini uproar in the student lounge area where I could hear her chattering away in Korean, and these little eruptions of laughter. She was hilarious speaking English, so I could imagine what it must be like in her native tongue. Another week passed and she said, Jack, I want to take you to lunch. I got these invitations from time to time, and normally they were turned down. Why? Because to have lunch with them was still a form of teaching, and I wasn't getting paid. That was the difference. But for Risa, the word no did not exist. She said, I'm like a dog that gets a bone between its teeth. Also, by this time, I had fallen under her spell. There was a spell, and she knew how to exercise the spell brilliantly. She had a presence, an energy, and a humor, and an enormous charm that was irresistible. She was fun. Fun is always at a premium. Lunch. We took Julie, the receptionist, with us. Julie was another victim of the Risa effect. Julie said, "She's so unusual." We went to a Langer's Deli on 7th and Alvarado because she wanted to eat American. We drove over in the car, a Mercedes SUV, into a booth, and she studies the menu. The Langer's menu, size of one of my paintings. It says, "What do you recommend?" I recommend the 88, pastrami with chopped liver and Russian dressing. I describe pastrami. Smoked beef rubbed with a paprika-cumin mix to produce this crust. And the chopped liver, liver from the chicken, mixed with bits of onion and apple and rendered chicken fat. Amazing. I said, "The steak is also good." She said, "I'll have the steak." Conversation began. Conversation with the average ESL student is brutal, like pulling teeth. But not with Risa. She just started talking. She said, "I came here for 2 reasons. I made a promise when my children were born that one day I would take them to visit America. And also, I wanted to see for myself what the country was like, and if it was the same country we see on TV and read about in the newspaper. Because that country, the country on TV and in the newspaper, did not seem like such a nice place to me." What is the word for it when a big person beats up the little person? I said the word is bully. I gave her my views on this. Maybe there was some truth to it. A lot of truth to it. But there are always 2 sides to every story. On to the husband, a dentist. She said, "I speak to him every day. Today he was playing golf. I hate that." I said to him, "Why aren't you working?" He said, "Because I am depressed." I said to her, "You're here for 2 years, but many of these women come over with the kids. The husband never sees them again. The kids get into the university, become fluent in English, and totally embrace the culture. They love the freedom. They become Americans. There is no way they will return to Korea, and the husband is stuck. He has his job and his friends, and no desire to emigrate to the United States, where he will always be an outsider, even if he learns the language, which he is never going to do." I said, "I feel sorry for these men. They must wonder why they ever decided to get married and raise a family." She said, "You are right. It's hard." She spoke of her life in Korea. Not a bad life. They had a big house, belonged to a golf club. Membership to join? $1 million. Recently, she installed a home theater movie system in the house for $120,000. I said, "You mean $12,000? Koreans sometimes get the zeros mixed up." She said, "No, 4 zeros. The sound system was $100,000. I owned a house my grandfather gave me, and I sold the house to pay for the home theater system. So now it is my personal home theater system that my family can enjoy, but they must ask my permission." I said, "I understand." She mentions a meeting with the boss to fork over $1,500, in return for which he was obtaining a social security number that she needed to apply for a credit card. I said, "You have a bank account that comes with an ATM card, correct?" "Yes, but the ATM card is only good for $300 a day." "Are you saying that $300 is insufficient to cover the normal daily expenses of life?" "Yes." I looked at Julie, sitting there with a look like her eyes were going to fall out of her head. That's the excerpt. Please read the rest of the story. It's only 9,500 words. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.